Hi, everyone. Hopefully, everyone could hear me and see me. Another day of live streaming, and we've got another. I like to think another fabulous get together. And so we're going to give everyone a few minutes to pile in. If I could get a quick sound check from my moderators or anyone that could hear me, that would be wonderful. I appreciate that so much. All good. Thank you so much, Bex Bureau. I appreciate that. Today, we're going to talk about what's really going on in Washington, the cesspool we call the government here in the United States, and how it's going to be important around the world and how everyone is going to be affected by these changes that are coming. If you've been following me for a while, you know what I've been talking about, that the astrology is indicating massive change in the coming years. It all really started in 2020. And it will continue to change, and it's going to come at us at a very rapid rate. So we are entering one of the most intense months of the year of 2025. Again, I pointed this out in my 2025 video, where I said March and April are extremely intense because of the energies. So prepare yourself. And so it's not about doom and gloom. It's not about negativity. It's about preparing. And for those of you that are new and have never watched any of my stuff or listened to me talk about anything that's going on, you don't know what's really going on. So you think that it's fear-based. You think that it's based on, the end of the world kind of nonsense. It's not. It is just forecasting. And I have to use the example of weather. If you know you're going to be traveling and you know you're going to be, encountering a storm or severe weather, you prepare for it, right? This is the same thing here when we're talking about what's happening in the world today. We have a great awakening that's occurring. We have a lot of turbulence because the powers that shouldn't be now are about to change the system, and we're witnessing it. And so I'm all for the revealing. That's what I'm for here. And I've said this before. I want to see things disclosed. I want to see the truth come out because me and so many other truth seekers have been doing this a very long time. I've been doing this about 30 years, wanting to know what's real, what's not real, what are governments, what are religions, all of this stuff. And this is why I'm doing what I do. And of course, I have the private community now because of the censorship. And I will be hopping on that private call right after this presentation. There's a link down below. If you're interested in joining, there's a free 7-day trial. So you have nothing to lose. I believe it's a one-click, free trial. If you want to just, check it out and if it's not for you, that's okay too, but I do have a wonderful bunch of members in the free community supporting what I do, and they're getting firsthand knowledge, of what I know is coming. I am tuning into this stuff all the time, friends. Remember, I live in my RV. I'm pretty much remote most of the time, and I'm in tune with the higher consciousness, which is part of myself, just like you. So if you know how to tune into it and you know the cycles and the trends, you are able to pick up on the information. It's something natural. We all have this ability. So we just have to learn to understand the symbolism and learn to understand the messages that we receive. So today we're going to be talking about what's really going on and how we're going to continue to see things being revealed and dissolved and destroyed. And we're already seeing that in the United States and other countries for that matter. People are waking up. This is what the Great Awakening is all about. It's about humanity taking back its power from these institutions. And that includes all of them, not just Washington and the governments. It's about the religions. It's about the belief systems. This is what we're taking back. We're beginning to understand how the world really works. Not some bullshit that has been put out for thousands of years that we're supposed to believe in. Okay? That's what's coming into being. And one of these things is going to be extraterrestrial stuff. So that's coming too. I've already talked about it. Many others have tuned into it. Same thing. So what I'm going to do here is in a minute or so, in a few seconds, I'm going to share my screen. I've got some more slides I want to show you and tell you what's really coming in the near future. Okay? So I think we've got enough people in here right now, and we'll go into the shared screen. So let me get in there right now. Entire screen. Okay. And here we go. All right. So hopefully everyone can see that. Let me start the slideshow here. Come on. There we go. Okay. So hopefully everyone could see this. And of course, thank you to my Bex Bureau for creating this wonderful slide. Let me stop this. Hold on one second. And so, look, this is a perfect example of what's going on. Now, this building, could be the Capitol, but I believe it's the Federal Reserve that is going to be dissolved, and it's already really gone already. So if you understand what the Federal Reserve is, I'm going to cover some of that in these slides today. For those of you that are new to this topic, please do the research. I'm going to give you some tips and who to watch or listen to, because they have done fabulous work over the years on this topic. So things are being revealed and then dissolved, primarily the financial system. So that is coming. All right. So no fear, just prepare, be smart. Okay. As I pointed out in my last video and one of the others, we're in the apocalypse, which means to reveal, uncover, unveil. This is what's going on. So part of this is the structures that have been put in place to control humanity. And it has to do with governments, it has to do with religions, and it has to do with this financial system that they've set up all around the world. And this is nothing new, friends. This has been going on, like I said, for thousands of years. It's just the last couple of hundred years, it's been so evident who the players are. Okay, so first of all, you got to understand where I'm coming from, and so many truth seekers. Once you go down this rabbit hole, you realize that what government really is an organized crime network. Okay, I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. These things have been put in place for us to be controlled. So this is a perfect example. I found this slide. What is the difference between organized crime, government, and organized crime? One is organized. Okay. That's the bottom line. Do your own research. Many of you who are truth seekers like myself know this, that there's a network worldwide, not just in the United States, worldwide, that is got nice suits on, that has been controlling everything, including the politicians, the financial systems, and all roads lead to the religions. Okay, I'm sorry for you religious folks, but these two, the Judeo-Christian religion, is where the roads lead. Do your own research. Okay. This is, it's evident to me. And then it goes beyond that, but we're not going to talk about that today. But anyway, me and many other truth seekers are trying to get people to look and see and look at how corrupt the governments really are. Doge is doing a wonderful job of exposing this corruption. And so many of us over the years are going, can't you see it? Can't you see how corrupt the system is? Can't you see there are criminals basically siphoning money from society and then channeling and funneling it and laundering it to other people? Can't you see it? So anyway, I found this slide. I thought this was a little entertaining. So there's many of us out there. Don't lose hope, friends, because there's going to be a lot of changes. Some of them are going to be really good, especially in 2026. So anyway, let's start off with this, with this presentation. And a lot of you have gone down this rabbit hole. You understand what the Federal Reserve was or is. Well, it actually was. But the Federal Reserve Act of 1913, very sneaky, very, very sneaky, where these bankers have gotten together. And by the way, they're international bankers. They're not just in the United States. They're international bankers. And we know who the families are that created this nonsense. They basically met on Jekyll Island in about 1910, and then passed this Federal Bankers Act December 23rd, 1913. So 2 days before Congress went on holiday, they snuck this in. And Woodrow Wilson, sitting right there, signed the document into law. and he wrote in his memoirs and his book that today he basically signed away the rights to the country. I'm just paraphrasing here. But he admitted that he basically gave the country to the bankers. So if you want to understand real politics, it's not a Democrat-Republican issue. It is who's pulling the strings behind the scenes. And this criminal organization has been front and center. And it's not just in the United States. They're also called central banks. And they have been set up all around the world. They were first set up in Austria and Germany and France and Italy. And they were called central banks, and then eventually came around to the United States, the Federal Reserve, which lends money to the government. So you want to understand why there's so much corruption? They make money, create money out of thin air, and then circulate it to the government at interest. It's like 47 cents on every dollar they print goes to interest. So it's a Ponzi scheme, and they trap you into it. So how do we know all this? Because this man, this brave soul, G. Edward Griffin, wrote the book that is like the Bible of the Federal Reserve, and it's called The Creature from Jekyll Island. You could buy the book. It's a great book. You could listen to him talk. He's got tons of videos on YouTube and other places. He still gives lectures on what's really going on. This is a great man. He really uncovered the truth here about this organized crime network. Okay. Here's his book, The Creature from Jekyll Island. You could get it probably used if you want. Buy it new from his website, whatever. Support the guy. He is absolutely worth listening to. Okay. And so he discovered all of this. The Great Federal Reserve Money Scam. That's what he calls it. And he's not wrong. Okay. No matter how you slice it, you've got to listen to him. So anyway, he's not the only one. Now, if we go back in time, Andrew Jackson was a big proponent of keeping the bankers out of the government because they kept trying to create central banks throughout the young nation's history. And he has so many quotes about the bankers and their charters and how they want to infiltrate the country because they knew that they wanted to create the currency for the country. So here's one of the quotes, and I have several of them, and this is from 1832. Okay, you are vipers and thieves. I intend to rout you out, and by the eternal God, I will rout you out. He hated the bankers, and rightly so, because what they were trying to do was influence politics and politicians and create currencies to control the colonies. So he's not wrong in what he was talking about. Abraham Lincoln knew about this. JFK knew about this. When you get into debt, you become a slave. He understood this. So since the inception of this country, the King of England kept insisting on creating the currency for the colonies. And they kept saying, F off, we don't want you here. So one of the things that is speculated on is the reason we had these wars and we broke off from England and, was because the king and the bankers kept insisting on controlling the colonies and creating this new system. And all throughout history, with the War of 1812, the Civil War, all the wars are banker wars. They have funded them. They have funded oppositions. They have caused the strife and the chaos all throughout history, what I discovered. And so these presidents knew about this, all right? If the people only understood the rank injustice of our money and banking system, there would be a revolution before the morning. And he was saying this all throughout the 1800s. Because he was trying to warn people of how corrupt the federal banking system was going to be, and he projected it. He predicted it, and he was adamant about it. Okay, so here's another one: no free government could stand without virtue in the people and a lofty spirit of patriotism. Now, for you folks that are on the left, all right, you so-called Democrats, and by the way, Andrew Jackson was a Democrat. You could see that he realized that if you don't have that spirit of patriotism, that you don't want to participate in the American experiment, okay, you've got to have that. This is not about dividing people, and that's the worst part that's been going on in this country right now is the division, and it's all been done on purpose to cause chaos. Pit the people against each other, and so you've got to have a spirit of patriotism. And so this is absolutely important right now. It doesn't mean we're better than anyone else. It just means that we care about our country. We want the best for everyone. And we want some sort of fair system in place that is not going to rip people off. That's what I'm advocating for. And many people with common sense want the same thing. But we have not had that because of the corruption of these bankers behind the scenes. Here's another great man. If you listen to what he says and read his book, he's got a book as well. What we really need to do is to repeal 1913. That way we could get rid of the income tax and the Federal Reserve at the same time. By the way, the income tax was implemented the same year that the Federal Reserve came out. You think that's any mistake, friends? If you have a criminal entity that is going to lend money to the government at interest, you're going to need an agency that's going to collect the income or the money. So they created the income tax. And by the way, it's not federal. What I discovered, it's registered in Puerto Rico. Okay, for those of you that want to really do your homework, the IRS is in Puerto Rico. It's not even part of the federal government. If you want to technically, dive into it. And I covered some of this before in previous videos, but please do your own homework. This is why everything is being revealed right now. It is no coincidence that the century of total war coincides with the century of central banking. So he's absolutely right. And what he's talking about, it's time to end the Fed. And this should have happened years ago. And believe me, the Fed has been defanged quite a bit, but there's still very powerful groups that are pulling the strings and still, continue to do what they're doing. But they can't print any more money, because the more money they print, the more it devalues the currency, and that's what causes inflation. So I want you guys to understand what's really being dissolved here is the financial criminal system. It's being exposed. So here we go. Let me go back. This is Ron Paul's book. You want to get that one. It's pretty good as well. And the Fed, he wrote it years ago, and one of the most outspoken people on this criminal entity. Now let's fast forward to today and what's going on with Fort Knox and Doge and all this other stuff. These two are playing their role in uncovering and discovering and rebuilding the system. Okay. Now we have to keep an eye on them. I'm not saying, they're some sort of messiahs or saviors. I am saying that I support them for one reason, and I've said this before over and over. So for you newbies that are here, I said this at the beginning. Mr. T and Elon, they are serving a purpose. They are revealing, unveiling. They're showing you the corruption, how bad it is. Now, does this mean that they're squeaky clean? No. It means that they're playing a role in trying to set up something new. It's up to us, the American people, the world, to keep pressure on these people. Do you understand how it works? The more of us put pressure on them, if they do something that we really don't like, like they're lining their pockets, which I don't think they're doing right now, okay, or setting up a system that's going to be just as criminal and corrupt, we have to hold them accountable. That's what I'm talking about. The more of us keep our eyes on what's going on, okay, the better it will be for all of us. Now, what I do see astrologically in 2026, there's going to be a new system that's going to benefit everyone. The question becomes is, how good will it be? Or will there be strings attached to where we have to, like I said, give our DNA, our biometric connections, or whatever it is? We need to stay on top of this, friends. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. Many people have said, oh, you're getting too political. You don't understand. We are going through a massive change right now in this country and around the world. This is an amazing time to be alive, to witness this. This has never happened before, where we have technology to expose what's really going on, and the energy from the cosmos that's coming in, the astrology and this cosmic energy coming in from space. So we have an amazing time right now to witness massive change. And so if we play our cards right and we participate and say, okay, this looks like it's going to benefit all of us, let's do this. You're going to get rid of the income tax? Great. What's going to be in its place? Are we going to have an open system where everyone can see what's going on? Let's see if that takes place. So what I'm suggesting to everyone is pay attention. Don't get all riled up. Don't get all, oh my God, he's going to destroy this. He's going to destroy it. That's what's happening with the deep state and the people that are screaming the highest about, that this is a constitutional crisis, and not. It's not. The president has the power, and what he's doing is absolutely totally legal. And I've listened to many legal scholars talk about this. And so the president has the right to do this. Anyway, let's continue. Let's talk about the astrology for a minute and why this coming month or two are going to be so important, and has to do with this planet right here, Venus. Venus is going to go retrograde starting on March the 1st all the way through April the 12th. Now, this is very big in astrology because Venus represents not just partnerships, but it represents money and finance. It represents the value systems. And so what I see coming as an astrologer, and many other astrologers are seeing the same thing, is something is coming to an end. Some sort of change to the financial system is evident in the astrology. And I believe it's going to happen in March and April. These 2 months are going to be monumental for change. Something is ending, something is completing, something is being revealed, because there's too much powerful astrology that is going on in March. And Venus is leading the way, especially when she makes connections in the United States' chart. Now, I'm not going to go over this in this presentation. I will cover that in the live stream, my Zoom call right after this in my private community, because I have to be careful what I say here. So if you want to check it out, there's a link down below, 7-day free trial. So, I'll show you how to get in at the end of this presentation. So if you want to really understand the monetary system, this is a guy that I really enjoy his work over the years. This is the Corbett Report, James Corbett. Just put in thecorbettreport.com. You'll go to his site. He's offered so much free information, and his videos are spectacular. Very well done, but also very well researched. So you go to his website, you click on video right there. Okay. You do the search. I want you to do a search for this video. Okay. This video got millions of views. How Big Oil Conquered the World. It's about the Rockefeller family and how they got started and how they began to control society. Now, here's the thing you have to understand. You must watch the entire thing. It's about an hour and 20 minutes long or something. It's eye-opening because he connects the dots to how this financial network basically started here in the United States with oil, but then it also branched off into Europe, and how they began to control everything through buying politicians and controlling the supplies and all this other stuff. This is a fabulous, and I mean fabulous, video for those that don't want to understand, don't understand the financial system and how these corrupt families have taken over the United States. And this is just one family, or in Europe we have others. But this is a fabulous video to show the average person. It's non-offensive, it's non-political. It just shows you the facts. Okay, anything by James Corbett. The man really knows his research. So I highly suggest it, thecorbettreport.com. Do the search, How Big Oil Conquered the World. Let's go back to G. Edward Griffin. What he is basically saying right now, just like many of us know, the collapse of the fiat system. The fiat currency system is one where it's created out of thin air. There's money that's created out of thin air and basically lent to the governments at interest. It's a Ponzi scheme. And the banks all know it. The banks are all in on it. The big banks are all in on it. They lend money that they do not have, okay? And they collect interest on your hard labor. And so this is what the same conclusion that G. Edward Griffin has come to, is that the fiat currency is coming to an end. And everyone knows it because all the big countries and banks have been stocking up on gold and silver, and they're now buying farmland, and they're investing in real estate, residential properties through shell corporations. Friends, you just have to, read the tea leaves here and understand what's really going on. They're getting ready for a switch in financial systems worldwide. This is the big news. So pay attention and don't be afraid. I know I get a lot of questions about, what do I do with the money I have? Is my bank safe? Am I going to lose everything? Friends, do your research quick. Get up to speed. My suggestion is, you're going to have to do some quick homework because it's hard to tell you what to do. If you're coming from zero, you're coming from scratch. And so what the professionals and what I've done is you basically, buy supplies, you buy gold and silver coins, small amount, small denominations. You bank with the smaller banks, credit unions, all of that stuff. You have supplies, and you prepare yourself psychologically. That's the most important here, and so we may have a month or 2 or 3 of adjustment where things feel weird or economic situations slow down and you're like, what's going on? Now you'll understand it. Okay. But you've got to get up to speed. I would suggest somebody like Catherine Austin Fitz, Whitney Webb. These are all people that I respect and admire, and they've gotten fantastic information. Another guy would be Greg Hunter from the USA Watchdog. He has some fabulous guests on there. Jim Willey, another guy that does a great job. And by the way, you could Google all these people and then listen to them. Again, you're going to have to do your research, friends, okay? And get up to speed. So I want to get into, now this is where I have to be very careful about what I talk about. And I've covered this in my inner circle community with my members. We went really deep down the rabbit hole. Now, why is this all really important and what's about to come out? This is Ronald Bernard. He's a Dutch banker. And his story is this. And here's the video. You could Google him. You could go on YouTube. He still has videos up there talking about his experience. He was a high-level banker in the Dutch Netherlands there. And he was invited to these parties. And these parties involved rituals, sacrifices, okay? And he was appalled. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. As a matter of fact, one of the videos, he's actually tearing up and crying on what he witnessed. And why is this important? Because this is going to come out, friends, and it's all tied to the banking systems, the elite, the the people in power, Hollywood. All of these things are going to come out, and it's going to shock many people. For those of you who have been listening to me or have done your own research and gone down the rabbit hole, you know that this stuff is real. It's been going on for thousands of years, nothing new. But now it's going to be exposed and we're going to see it. And this is one of the guys that I would highly suggest you listen to understand where it's coming from. Okay. Here's another video from a few years ago. And I'm going to be careful what I say here, because here's a Spanish model and there's her name up there. Okay. Who basically ran out of this hotel room screaming to anyone that wants to listen. And here's the video. This is on Reddit. Okay. And this is what she was saying in Spanish. They're upstairs doing this, okay? And this is the group that's doing it. And she's screaming. Anyway, and they thought she was crazy. And she's like, no, this is actually happening upstairs in the room. Okay, you could watch the video. It's in Spanish. If you're Spanish and understand Spanish. But this is what she was saying. So it's actually happening. And believe me, over the years of listening to many insiders, whistleblowers, religious people, all said the same thing. This has been going on. And they all lead back to the religious organizations. So again, friends, I'm just slowly breaking it to you. So for those of you that are new to this topic or don't understand it, it's going to shock many of you. It's going to surprise the hell out of you, going, oh my God, these people are sick. Yes, they are. So this is what's going to be revealed. And also this topic here. Okay. Again, I'm not going to say this, but this is very big and it's coming out. And by the way, Mr. T has been talking about this for the last 8 years. You know, he makes these comments about, this trafficking, that trafficking, and so on and so forth. And it's all going to come out, friends, especially with regards to these youngins over here. Okay. This is one of the biggest stories that is being suppressed. And, those of us that went down the rabbit hole when we first discovered this, it was pretty disgusting. And we're still in shock, but we have to face this reality that this is going on all around the world. Here is a perfect example of what has been going on. If you've seen this movie, and it's a very popular movie, this is based on a true story. It was very accurate. This is what's going on around the world, that these kids are being taken all around the world and used. Okay, so this is part of the disclosure. This is dissolving the illusion, the lies that have been put out there about what's really going on. And it's not going to be pretty. For many people, it's going to be, oh, this is crazy. Oh, this is bullshit. There's only a small amount of people doing it. No, it's millions of people all around the world are doing this. And so it's all being exposed, friends. All right. So why am I saying this right now? Because these two are now in positions where they are going to basically start to reveal everything. According to my calculations and my spidey senses and my common sense, let's not forget that, we are basically coming for you. Who are they talking about? They're not talking about the American people. They're not talking about, the average person. They're talking about what's been going on behind the scenes, who's been pulling the strings, who's been doing this corruption. And unfortunately, for many of you, especially those of you that are lean towards the left politically, your party is like 90% a part of it. It's been corrupt from the beginning, and it's been totally corrupted. Now, the other 10% is definitely on the right. They have been doing it on a different level. Okay. So when we say both parties are involved, yes, but the left is much deeper involved in the corruption at the state and local levels. And they make no bones about it. Okay. But the right is involved in a different way through religious organizations, through power at a very high level. But what we're witnessing right now, as I've said before, we're witnessing a battle between controlling factions at a high level. And what I mean by that is these families, nobody really knows. They stay in the shadows, but they tell the people that work for them what to do and how to do it. And again, I pointed this out in one of my previous videos with Kevin, what's his name? I forgot his last name. He basically was part of this group and network, and he discovered that there were different factions vying for control. And so here we see the next level in the next couple of months is going to be this total exposure and being brought forth, the corruption and how deep it is. Okay. And it all revolves around this guy and what he's been doing. And she's made this statement already. Okay. The list is on her desk right now. She hasn't been given the green light yet. But I promise you, friends, it will be let out, the list of everyone that was involved with this guy. If you know who he is, again, I have to be careful what I say. I will follow this up in my inner circle community right after this at 12 noon. The link is down below. I will talk about this a little bit more, and then we'll get into questions and answers over there. So this guy is, one of the major players, and so is the other guy that got arrested in Hollywood. What's his name? P. Diddy. This is what they're talking about. And this is what's all going to be coming out real soon. So things are quickly escalating in these next few months, and we're going to see it unfold. Okay. So what's really going on, friends? The matrix is collapsing. You are here to witness this. So increase the frequency, the vibration, more love and light. Now, what does that mean? That means that do things that make you feel good and make you feel happy. Pay attention to what's going on. Don't feed into fears and anger. That lowers your vibration right away, right down. Okay. You see something on the news. Oh my God, I hate that. No, you observe it, you listen to it, and you go, interesting. I'll keep that in my memory bank. And then I'll move forward. And I'll take that into consideration. Let's see what happens. And by the way, with the AI basically monitoring everything, it's doing a great job now of countering any of the truth that comes out. In other words, the so-called fact checkers and all these websites, and especially the news, it's disgusting to do a Google search now because you'll get the first 100, links are all to news networks. Okay, the criminal news networks, the mainstream media networks. And so it's very hard to get any real information anymore. Like I said, the AI is sanitizing the internet, and they're doing that on purpose. So what I mean by more love and light, meaning remember who you are, your energy being in the suit, having experience, more love, enjoy your family, enjoy your friends, do things that make you happy, but also pay attention to what's really going on. The matrix is collapsing, the control system. Okay, that's what it means. It's collapsing to a certain extent. That's what I'm suggesting here. Okay, so here is the inner circle. Like I said, it's a free 7-day trial. If you stand by a minute, I'm going to walk you through it and show you how to get in there. And so I do the extended monthly horoscopes. I do the weekly astrology, which should be in there already today. I teach astrology there. We do weekly Zoom calls. Today, we'll be giving the group another remote viewing task to look into something. And so, and then people send me their horoscopes, not their horoscopes, their birth charts, and I could answer a few questions for them. I do that all on Sunday. And in the community, there's a lot of postings. There's a lot of people interacting and revealing information that they can't post on other sites. Otherwise it gets taken down. So anyway, check it out. You can check it out for a 7-day free trial. And it's a one-click, you could get in and out in 7 days. And if that's what you really want. But also, here's what you do. Once you get in, you'll see how to get in and sign up. You'll go to the calendar right here. You'll click on that, and then it'll bring you to today's date. Obviously, this is January, but you'll go to February 23rd. Click on that link there, and it'll take you to the Zoom link. So once you're in, you'll click on that. You have to have Zoom. So make sure you have Zoom. Sign into that first before you do any of this. Zoom is free. Just register for it. And you'll click on this, and it'll take you to the live stream at 12 noon. So it'll go for an hour. and you'll be able to, check it out. And we're going to go right in there right after this and talk a little bit more about what's really going on. So let me exit from here and go back to the screen. Hold on one second, guys. Let's see here. Stop sharing screen. Okay, we're back, and we're going to go into some questions as we have some time, some basic questions. So I have my moderators standing by, and I'm just going to look this over. But anyway, friends, what I want to really, the importance of what's coming up. And this month coming up, and I will cover that in the new moon outlook coming up on the 27th. I'm preparing those slides for the new moon outlook. But I already did the astrology for March in a blog and a newsletter. So I already have that on my websites. I have 3 or 4 different websites. Okay. But anyway, my point being is that the astrology is very intense for March. So I want you to understand what's coming here. Not only is it eclipse season, but we have Venus going retrograde and we have Mercury going retrograde at the same time. And this is all happening by the middle of March. So the energy is going to be off the charts. So if you understand this, do not take it personally, like it's only happening to you. Believe me, I feel the heaviness of this energy. Believe me, it's like we're going through molasses or something. All right. And the political theater is just one side of it. What's really happening is we're beginning to understand the controlling mechanisms, how they're controlling humanity through information, through fear, through division. That's what they're doing. And so it is absolutely part of the equation right now to stay centered and not overreact, not get crazy with political, I'm right, I'm left, I'm this, I hate this guy, I hate that guy. That's a waste of energy. It's a total waste of energy. Just pay attention to the players, pay attention to the moves. Okay, there's a lot of good people out there on alternative platforms that are putting out some great information. And I'll just mention a few. I mean, if you go on X, obviously Alex Jones is one of them because he's always been ahead of the curve, whether you like him or not. He still had really good information. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. There's so many sources, but I usually like to tune into stuff myself, look at astrology, tuning into it. So anyway, this is basically, a reveal, the great reveal that's taking place in the world. And the astrology is indicating it. Pluto in Aquarius is indicating the great reveal. And so I know there's many people out there that don't want to hear that. I don't want to know about politics. Oh, it sucks. This and that. I just want to be, in la la land and the fairy world. Yeah, eventually we'll be back there again when we leave these physical suits. But right now, this is such a transitional period that we have to participate. You understand, when a large number of people starts to pay attention and starts to participate in their own future, going, nope, we don't want that. Nope, we're going to do this. Nope, we're going to keep the vibration high over here. Nope, we're not going to feed into your anxiety, your fears, and your doubts. The more of us that do that, the more power we have. Do you understand that concept? That's how it works in this world. Okay, the more people unify and say, we're going to have to move away from this nonsense. And this is what I've advocated for the longest time. Smaller communities, away from major cities. Okay, self-sufficiency. Know where your food is coming from. Know where your water is coming from. All that stuff. That's what I'm talking about. The basics. It's about getting back to the basics. But at the same time, the technology is absolutely going to move forward. And so this is what's happening. So anyway, let me see if I have any questions here. If I can answer any questions, my moderators have any questions here for me. Let me look. Bexborough, do you have any questions there? Okay, so let me look real quick here. Just go over some questions real quick. RFK working on banning big P commercials. Good, fantastic. I mean, again, they're playing their role. They have to do this for the Pope. Let's see, for the Pope to go to heaven or hell. Yes, the Pope is on his last leg. It's symbolic of the entire religion as well that they've been doing there. Love and light. Senators might be leaving, I hope. Yes, Mitch McConnell said he's not running again. I mean, the guy's like 80 plus years old, and he's falling down. Not a pretty sight. Anyway, and so hold on, let me see some questions here. And all right, so thoughts on Elon and being manipulated by Trump? No, Elon's not being manipulated by Trump. You got to understand, they chose Elon because of his technological background, friends. He's got these kids that are geniuses, and he is part of this new system because he has the space travel and the Starlink satellites and all this stuff. Again, I've talked about this before, and it appears that whatever system that they're going to implement involves space technology, those satellites. So Trump is not manipulating. Trump knows that Elon was chosen to be a part of the team because of his technology and his brain power and the connections that he has. So again, I've said this over and over again. They're going to set up a new system that involves satellites and digital currency or some means of bypassing what we already have on Earth because it's corrupted. Okay, so stop thinking small that Elon and Trump are somehow manipulating things. No, remember, there are people above them that are guiding them. You understand that? They're guiding them. So we have to just, again, keep the pressure on them. And so this is what's going to happen. So I have another question here. Thoughts on crypto dump in South America? Look, there's going to be a lot of corruption with crypto. We already saw in, I believe, Korea, North Korea or something. One of the exchanges there got hacked and they stole 1.4, 1.6 billion in crypto. This is what I'm talking about when I say there's a transitional period. Whatever they set up, you think it's going to be, done overnight and it's going to happen, without any problems? Hell no. There's going to be corruption left and right. We don't know where it's coming from because you've got brilliant hackers out there. They've got technology that can hack these systems. And so we are going to see many things change on the financial system, especially when it comes to crypto, because it's all digital. So if you do have crypto, please protect it. But some of these, these cryptic agencies or these houses that sell crypto, they could get hacked. So there's a part of that going on, But again, you have to just take in account different pieces here and there, and get your own assessment on it. Protect what you have. If you have a lot of crypto, you get yourself a wallet, and and store it there. If you've got assets, protect them. And I'm not saying this out of fear. You just protect what you have. Okay. What should we expect for the upcoming Virgo full moon? I will cover that in the next video or two because it's going to be very powerful. It's not just a full moon, it's a total lunar eclipse. And it's going to bring in endings. It symbolically represents endings. And so this is happening on 3/14, which is also pi, P-I, which means a cycle is coming to an end. So this is going to be very profound, that full moon. What will happen when Uranus conjunct Mr. T's midheaven? Yes, Ashley, I know about that. I'm going to cover that as well. There is a possibility of more attacks on Mr. T because of the star Algol and the conjunction once again of Mars and Uranus in Mr. T's chart, or the square in his chart. And so there is absolutely the month of March is just it's so turbulent. I'm sorry to have to say it's so turbulent. Let's see. Birch Star has, I'm going to stop eating eggs and chickens since they are planning to vaccinate chickens. Yeah, well, that's a good idea. I eat very organic, pasteurized, raised eggs, and they cost a fortune. But, you want healthy food. Absolutely. You want things that are going to be as healthy as possible, unless you want to grow your own, get chickens and mind them yourself. But this is definitely something we have to pay attention to. And I've talked about this in previous videos, food supplies and where's your food coming from, because they are tainting the food. Remember, these psychopaths that run the planets, whoever they are, believe there's too many people on this planet, and they need to reduce the population and slow it down. And that's what they've been planning, and they've said this all along. Thoughts on Trump and Ukraine with the mining? That's a nice clause there. That's a way of getting them to participate in the new system. You have minerals, you have supplies. We'll be interested in them. So it's Trump is a negotiator. Okay, a few more questions here, and then we'll cut. Let's see. Damon says these Elohim are trying to alter the reality paradigm to an older timeline. Explain. Well, I can't get into it right now, but you're on the right track. They are definitely trying to manipulate humanity. And if you don't know what the Elohim are, some speculate they're not even human. So anyway, let's see. Thoughts on soy versus bug versus meat. What do you think is easier to force to get people sick? Well, if you're foolish enough to not know what you're putting into your body, you're going to get sick. And unfortunately, between the astrology that's coming up, the eclipses that are coming up in the sign of Virgo and Pisces, these represent health. So health issues in the next year and a half or so, because of the eclipses, is going to be very important. Okay. Anyway, friends, I'm going to stop the presentation now. For those of you that want to continue this conversation, there's a link down below to my Inner Circle community, which I will be getting on in about 14 minutes. Give you plenty of time to sign in and get on board, and we'll continue this conversation there. And if you have any questions, I will definitely address them there. So thank you so much for participating. I really appreciate all of you. Keep spreading the light of truth. That's my suggestion to everyone. Stay out of fear. Stay out of what you think you know, because all of that's going to be turned upside down on its head in the coming years or two. So pay attention and remember who you are, a spiritual energy being in a physical suit having the human experience. And we are at a crossroads right now. And this is a great time to be alive if you understand how to maneuver. All right. Have a great Sunday, and I'll see many of you soon in the Zoom call in the Inner Circle. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.